Okay, so you're probably here because Palantir Technologies has piqued your interest, right?
Mm.
Maybe you see it as a potential investment, or maybe you're just curious about this company that keeps popping up everywhere.
It seems like they're everywhere these days.
Exactly. Well, today we're going to do a deep dive into what makes Palantir tick.
We're going to pull back the curtain and really see what's going on.
Yeah, our mission is to really understand their financial performance, their growth strategy, the risks they might face, and also their growing presence in the UK market. We've actually gathered quite a bit of information for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah, we've cast a wide net.
Yeah, everything from the major financial news outlets like Yahoo Finance and MarketWatch and NASDAQ, the Financial Times.
And let's not forget Barron's and Morningstar.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And some more specialized industry publications like Defense News, Semaphore, and even insights directly from Palantir's investor relations.
We want to get their perspective directly from the source.
Absolutely. And we also looked at some reports and analyses from places like Guru Focus, MedTrade, and Stock Titan. To get a really well-rounded view, we even dug into some material concerning Palantir's work in the UK, including sources like Archer Aviation, the Good Law Project, Wikipedia, even the BMJ.
And some articles from Open Democracy and Corporate Watch, as well as Byline Supplement.
Exactly. So yeah, a lot to unpack
Yeah,
here.
let's unpack.
All right, let's jump right in. So their fourth quarter 2024 results look pretty strong, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they did. I mean, $828 million in revenue.
That's a 36% increase year over year.
Quite a jump.
That seems like a pretty solid foundation to build on, right?
It is. And the really interesting thing is where that growth is coming from. The U.S. market was a standout performer, a 52% increase overall.
Wow.
But when you break that down even further, the commercial sector in the U.S. saw a remarkable 64% increase.
So that means businesses beyond their traditional government clients are really starting to adopt their products and services.
Precisely. That kind of growth in the commercial space really suggests that Palantir's offerings are finding a broader appeal. It could be a sign of things to come in terms of diversifying their customer base.
Makes sense. Now, what about their government revenue?
Still strong. They saw a 45% increase there as well. And to top it off, they exceeded earnings expectations with an adjusted EPS, that's earnings per share, of 14 cents.
So the surge in the U.S. commercial sector, that seems like a key takeaway, showing that their appeal isn't limited to government clients. Now, where exactly are they seeing this traction, and what kind of new projects are fueling this growth?
Well, what's really interesting is that Palantir is strategically applying its AI-driven solutions across a whole spectrum of industries. Manufacturing, for example. They've added 6 new customers to their Warp Speed platform. Now, think of Warp Speed as sort of like a way to have this real-time digital overview of your entire manufacturing process.
So companies can identify and address any bottlenecks.
Exactly. And ultimately become more efficient, especially with onshore production.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense considering the global push for more resilient supply chains these days. Now, I also saw that they're making some moves in the aviation industry, too.
Yes, they've teamed up with Archer Aviation. Archer is focused on developing those electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, those flying taxis you hear about.
Yeah, the future.
That's it. And Palantir's role is to provide the AI backbone, both for scaling up the manufacturing of these aircraft and also to support their critical operational systems. So basically, AI managing the complexities of producing and operating cutting-edge aerospace technology.
That's pretty impressive. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Almost.
Now, on a more down-to-earth note, we can't forget about their continued presence in the defense industry, which is, kind of their bread and butter.
Oh, absolutely. Just recently, they delivered the first 2 Titan systems to the U.S. Army.
And remind us, what is Titan?
Titan is a mobile, AI-powered ground station. It's designed to give the Army a serious edge in battlefield intelligence and targeting.
So it's kind of like their eyes and ears on the ground, but smarter.
You could say that. This delivery, by the way, is part of a $178 million contract they landed last year. So yeah, their role in providing advanced technology to the military is as strong as ever.
So we've got factory floors, we've got the skies, we've got the battlefield. It sounds like Palantir is building a pretty diverse portfolio.
It is, and there's more. They're also actively targeting the global financial services sector. They're offering AI tools that can create a unified platform for these institutions to manage their own investments and strategies related to AI.
So they're basically helping financial institutions become more AI savvy.
Exactly. And they're focusing on ensuring that these institutions get the most bang for their buck when it comes to their AI spending.
It sounds like they're positioning themselves as this essential AI partner across so many sectors. I imagine all this growth and ambition is reflected in their stock performance.
It is. As of March 25th, 2025, the stock was trading around $96.51. That's a pretty remarkable increase of over 500% since early 2024.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
It is. It's been fueled by those strong earnings reports and the general market excitement around their progress in AI.
But I've also seen some analysts expressing caution about their current valuation.
Right, and that's a valid concern. While their growth is undeniable and their prospects seem bright, some analysts are saying that their stock might be a bit overvalued right now. Things like their price to earnings ratios are significantly higher than the industry average.
So the question is their current price truly justified by the current earnings and future potential? Or is it based on hype that might not pan out?
That's the million-dollar question. And to make things even more interesting, we've also had a pretty significant insider transaction recently. Co-founder Stephen Poen sold a large chunk of shares,
How large are we talking?
roughly $310 million worth.
Okay, that's substantial.
Definitely. Now, insiders sell for various reasons, maybe for personal financial planning, maybe to diversify their holdings. But a sale of that size can sometimes be interpreted as a lack of confidence in the company's future performance, even if that's not the actual reason.
So it's something to keep an eye on. Okay, so we've talked about the good, the impressive growth, the exciting projects, but what about the not so good? What are the potential risks that someone looking at Palantir should consider?
Well, one key factor is their reliance on government contracts. Governments can be unpredictable, their spending priorities might shift, budgets might get cut, political winds might change. All of that can have a direct impact on Palantir's revenue streams.
That's true. Government contracts can be lucrative, but they're not always reliable in the long run. What else should we be aware of?
Volatility. The stock itself has shown some pretty significant swings. We've seen that massive upward trend. But there was also a recent dip of around 30% from its 52-week high.
So it's not exactly a smooth ride.
It's not. And let's not forget the valuation issue. Even with strong growth, a high valuation means that the market has set very high expectations. If that growth falters for any reason, the stock price could take a hit.
Okay, so high potential rewards, but also some definite risks to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about Palantir's expanding presence in the UK. They've been securing some pretty big contracts there, right?
Absolutely. They've made some very deliberate moves to grow their footprint in the UK, especially in the government and defense sectors. The most notable example is probably the £330 million contract they got from NHS England to develop and manage what they call the Federated Data Platform, or FDP.
So what exactly is the FDP?
Think of it as a national-level system that connects all sorts of data from across the National Health Service. The idea is to improve patient care and operational efficiency by giving the NHS a much more comprehensive and integrated view of all its data.
It sounds like a pretty ambitious project. What are the practical benefits they're aiming for?
Well, the goals are pretty wide-ranging. They want to use this data to make earlier diagnoses, to create more personalized treatment plans, to manage resources more effectively, and ultimately to improve patient outcomes across the board. It's about using data to make smarter decisions at every level of the healthcare system.
Now, aside from healthcare, I know they're also working closely with the UK Ministry of Defence.
Yes, that's another key area for them in the UK. Back in 2022, they were awarded a £75 million, 3-year contract to help the Ministry of Defence with their digital transformation. The goal is to make the MADI more agile and tech-savvy and better able to manage and analyze data. It plays right into Palantir's strengths.
Yeah, it's kind of a natural progression from their work with the U.S. military.
Yeah.
And wasn't there also something about them being involved in the Homes for Ukraine program?
Yes. In early 2022, when the program was just getting started, Palantir was brought in to provide data management support. They helped the UK government streamline the process of matching Ukrainian refugees with host families. It was a quick response to a pressing humanitarian need.
So their UK expansion goes beyond just the big-ticket items like healthcare and defense.
Oh, yeah. They're branching out into other areas of government as well. In late 2023, they got a £1.5 million contract to build a trade analytics solution for a UK government department. The aim is to enhance their data analysis capabilities to improve decision-making in trade operations.
So it looks like a pretty deliberate strategy to become a major technology provider for the UK government across various sectors.
Exactly. These contracts, spanning healthcare, defense, humanitarian aid, and trade, really demonstrate their commitment to building a strong and diverse portfolio of public sector clients in the UK.
Okay, so let's sum it all up. Palantir is showing impressive financial growth, particularly in the U.S. commercial sector, and their AI-driven solutions are at the heart of it. They're involved in all sorts of cutting-edge projects across a range of industries. But potential investors need to be aware of the high valuation, the inherent risks of government contracts, and the recent activity from insiders. And as we've seen, they're making a concerted effort to become a major player in the UK government sector.
Right. So what's the key takeaway here? Palantir is a company in the fast lane, rapidly growing and innovating in the world of AI. But that rapid growth comes with some baggage, some potential risks that need to be carefully considered.
So here's our final thought for you to ponder. Given Palantir's ambitious growth goals, the uncertainty of government contracts, the stock's tendency to fluctuate, and their deepening involvement in critical public infrastructure, especially in markets like the UK, what do you think will ultimately determine their long-term success? Is it just about consistently growing revenue and winning more contracts? Or will their ability to navigate the complexities of public-private partnerships and maintain investor confidence amidst potential market turbulence be the deciding factor? It's something to really think about as you continue to explore Palantir.
A lot of food for thought.